I need to talk to you about modern money mechanics. The workbook published by the Federal Reserve Bank that explains that the banks, they do not really pay out loans. If they did this, no additional money would be created. Loans are made by crediting the borrower's account, by creating additional deposit money. This workbook, in the first page, it says, in the first sentence, the purpose of this booklet is to describe the basic process of money creation in a fractional reserve banking system. This workbook does exactly that in the first 11 pages. It's a 50-page workbook, but it describes how money is created in a fractional reserve banking system in the first 11 pages. Pages 12 through 50 describe something else. Money creation is explained thoroughly in the first 11 pages. In page 2, the money creation process takes place primarily through transaction accounts. The money creation process takes place principally through transaction accounts. On page 3, the section, who creates money? The actual process of money creation takes place primarily in banks. This is talking about the banks. The banks, increase deposits when the proceeds of loans made by the banks are credited to borrowers' accounts. Banks can build up deposits by increasing loans. Bankers discovered that they could make loans merely by giving their promise to pay, or bank notes to borrowers. Let me read that again in more fluid motion. Bankers discovered that they could make loans merely by giving their promise to pay or bank notes to borrowers. Pay attention. In this way, banks began to create money. Banks began to create money. Create money. Create. Goes on to say, transaction deposits are the modern counterpart of bank notes. It was a small step from printing notes to making book entries crediting deposits of borrowers. Page 4 doesn't have any bullets. Page 5, on the very top. From the standpoint of money creation. Money creation. Money creation. At the bottom on the footnote of page 5, it explains that all depository institutions, not just commercial banks, have the potential for creating money. Page 6. It's talking about the banks. The banks, they do not really pay out loans. If they did this, no additional money would be created. The banks, they do not really pay out loans. If they did this, no additional money would be created. Page 7. Loans are made by increasing the borrower's, loans are made by crediting the borrower's account by creating additional deposit money. So there you have it in the first 7 pages. Modern Money Mechanics, the workbook published by the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago, explains that when you and I go to a bank to take out a loan, the banks, they do not really pay out loans. They create money by making book entries, crediting deposits of borrowers. All right, here's going to be page 8, where it explains how banks make money out of nothing in the same way when they purchase government securities. The investments that Modern Money Mechanics is talking about is government securities. At the bottom of page 8, expansion through bank investments. Deposit expansion can proceed from investments as well as loans. Suppose that the demand for loans at some bank is slack. These banks would then probably purchase securities. Let me repeat that. Suppose that the demand for loans at some banks is slack. These banks would then probably purchase securities. The banks would make payment by crediting the customer's transaction accounts. Deposit liabilities would rise just as if loans had been made. The net effect on the banking system when banks purchase securities are identical with those resulting from loan operations. So the banks, according to Modern Money Mechanics, don't loan the people anything when we go for a loan. They credit an account. They purchase government securities by crediting an account. They have no investment at risk. They're not risking any assets of theirs to do anything. They are crediting accounts. They are creating money out of, according to modern money mechanics, they are creating money by making book entries. They create money by making book entries. They could create money out of thin air to purchase government securities and loan to us money and indenture us to them for years on end until we pay off the money they ledgered in and with interest. Pages 6 through 11 of this book. Remember, the book claims that the purpose of this booklet is to describe the basic process of money creation. That might lead most to believe they have to read the entire booklet to understand how money is created, but that is not the case. It is thoroughly explained, completely explained in the first 11 pages. Page 6 through 11 actually explains how deposits are expanded on. It doesn't explain how it's contracted on. That starts later in page 12. But that's not the issue that we're talking about here. What we're talking about is how the deposits are expanded on. The deposits is the money that they loan to us, claiming that they're performing a loan, or the money that they use to purchase government securities. All right, this is page 11. This is a chart that follows pages 6 through 10 that show